Hey there, Danielle Matthews here. I'm coming to you live from Florida. It's Monday, which means it's book club day, and we're in the midst of reading Wisdom Untethered. And this is a fantastic book. It's by Michael Singer. If you guys are ever in Florida, you should check out Temple of the Universe. He's like up nearish Gainesville area. Amazing man, enlightened mind, and has a way of just beautifully taking the craziness of life and all of the emotions that come up for all of us and the craziness of our own mind, and sharing with us how he has learned to not be tossed around by all of this and how you can easily learn the same exact thing. So today we are finishing out chapter 2. Chapter 1 was all about the mind. Chapter 2 is all about the emotions. So the way this book is laid out, it's in questions and answers format. So very helpful because the questions are super practical. They're questions that maybe you haven't even had the awareness to articulate yet, but when you hear them articulated, you're like, yes, spot on, 100%. That is the conundrum I found myself in my whole life that's leading to stress and dissatisfaction and all of this. What do I do? How do I resolve this? So if you're joining me live, please let me know. I can see the chat now. Hey, Karen. If you're catching the replay, please also let me know because I love to see who gets to enjoy this later. Hey, Charlotte, good to see you. So as I said, we are on question number 5, page 15. Okay, that's where we're going. And I want to ask you before we dive into this, have any of you listening to this ever been triggered, like emotionally lit up, triggered by the white lines on the side of the road? I think in most cultures and places, like roads have same sort of kind of lines. So the white line that kind of runs, that delineates the road from the shoulder. Has anyone ever been triggered by that? Okay, he has a great analogy in here when he answers one of these questions about how if you truly learn to let go of something, then it becomes just like any other passing experience. It becomes just like those lines on the side of the road where they're in your awareness, they're happening, but there is no emotional anything related to them. That is the power that you can get to with anything. Think about the person in your life that aggravates you the most. Maybe it's a relative or a child or a parent or a neighbor or a colleague, whatever it is. This is where we can get. So he says, the first question is, how do you know when you've worked through your emotional pain? So how can we really know we've resolved it? People go to years and years of therapy and still they get to the end of it and they're like, well, I understand it, but it's the energy of it's still there. Like, how do you actually resolve these things? You don't get upset. Hey, Tina, good to see you. He says, when you truly work through emotional pain, you don't have to think about it anymore. It's just gone. Like, it won't come up. You don't sit there and analyze whether you've moved past it or not. You simply notice that it no longer arises inside of you in the way that it used to. There was a time when certain situations, thoughts, or memories would trigger something inside of you, and now they don't. It's like driving home from work and realizing something that happened today that once would have bothered you, but now you don't even think to be bothered by it. That's how you know. Hey Lou, this is the direction we're going, where whatever the thing is that has emotional charge right now. So think about in your life something that is carrying a very heavy emotional charge, okay? And this is how Mickey's going to say, look, it's like, how do I know that I've resolved it? It's not by the other person changing, okay? You'll notice in all of this work, he never once says, well, you can get the other person to do this by doing this, right? There's no manipulation. There's no way, and you've probably run into this in life, like you can't change other people. You can't change your kids. You can't change your spouse. You can't change your parents. What can you do? You can change how you're relating to it. That is the only place that you can exercise control, and it's not by suppressing how you feel. That is not it. It is not it at all. It is about letting go of what's being triggered by what they're doing. Something in you is being triggered. It has to do with you. Okay, that's what he's getting at, and that's what we're going to talk about. He says, it's not about making yourself forget or forcing yourself to be okay. That doesn't work. That creates more stress, more tension in your body. Yeah, I'm okay. Right? People say, oh yeah, I'm okay. And you're like, I can tell you're not okay. Like, energetically, I can feel you're not okay. All right? He says, it's that the charged energy that used to cause disturbance has been neutralized. It's like the white lines on the road. They're not calls to action, yet you see them. They're there, but they don't demand your attention. That's what happens when you fully let something go. It becomes like any other passing experience. It once distracted your attention, but now it no longer controls your inner state. There are things that you're giving your peace away to. There are people that you're allowing to distract your inner state. There are people that you're not letting go of whatever experience inside of you or like wants it to be different. Okay? He says, think about things from your past that you used to be obsessed with. How many of you had like a favorite toy or like blanket or something when you were a child? Like think back to when you were a little kid. I had this, so in my era, when I was a kid, Thai Beanie Babies were like a big thing. And there was one Thai Beanie Baby, it was a tiger. I called mine Cuckoo. And I took it everywhere. That thing was everywhere. Its eyes were all scratched up. It had like gum on the back of it. Like that, but that thing went everywhere with me. And then when I went off to college, you know, I was like cleaning out my room and things, and it's like, oh, there he is. Like, when did I ever stop getting obsessed with him? I don't remember when I stopped, but I stopped, right? And there he was, and there was no emotional attachment anymore. Do you guys have something like that from your childhood? Or maybe later in life, right? There was an item that you clung to, or maybe a piece of clothing or something that somebody had gifted you or whatever that like had all of this meaning, and then one day you looked at it and that wasn't there anymore. Okay, that's what he's related to. He says, when you were a child, maybe you had a toy that was everything to you. And then one day you outgrew it. It didn't take any effort. He says, you didn't have to make a decision to move on. You just did. It just happened, right? That's what happens when you truly process and release emotional pain. It's not that you suppress it, and it's not that you fight with it. It simply flows into the vast ocean of life and no longer pulls on you. It just lets go. Tina says, my idea of the way it should be. Yes. Yes, that's a big one, Tina. We all have to let go of the idea of what it should be. I have an idea of how things should be. Life has no allegiance to that idea, right? Life's doing life, and I'm just here. All right, if the pain happens to come up again, that's okay. Just take a moment to notice, wow, this used to really bother me. Now it's barely affecting me. That's growth. That's how you know that you've worked through the emotional blockage. And then he gets into what we can do, right, if we're not there yet. So question number 6, he says, or the question is, I feel deep shame about some of the things I've gone through in my life. How do I free myself from these feelings and stop being consumed by them? How many of you have experienced shame? How many of you, like, when that comes in, also you like don't feel good inside. Like you think of something. Maybe something you did, something you said, how you treated someone, maybe somebody that you really loved or cared about, and you did something that you're like, I can't believe I did that, and you have shame around it. Or a situation you got into that you're not proud of because of the decisions you made, things you do that now don't align with your morals or values, but back then, whoop, whatever was happening in life, you did it, and now you have some shame around it, okay? Yeah, me too, Tina. Like, sometimes I look back, I'm like, what was going on, you know? And there's like an embarrassment or there's something in there, okay? So this is huge because we all have this. And he uses this to teach a concept called samskaras. This is a concept, it's actually a yogic concept. And it's about like these things that get trapped in us because of events, situations, people, traumas, stuff we've experienced in our past. They get lodged in us. And then we have these impressions. Well, I'll let him explain it. He says, in your mind and heart, there are stored impressions from the past called samskaras. The shame you describe is due to a deep samskara trying to release, and that is causing the feeling of shame expressing itself in your mind and emotion. So when these things are ready to move through, because if you just think of life as like a tube and everything's flowing through it and you're just kind of there witnessing the experience of all that's coming and going, which is the truth, some stuff you didn't let flow through. You stopped it for whatever reason because your mind, you know, in all its brilliance thought, no, I don't want to feel that. No, I don't want to go there. And it stopped it. Well, so that thing has just been oscillating in your system, deeply rooted, like in the subconscious, like you're not conscious of this thing. When shame comes up, or insert other feeling, right? Anger, sadness, whatever. It's that samskara. It's that thing that's been oscillating in your system trying to move through the tube. So when it comes up, you have to feel it. You got to feel it while it's on its way out. Okay? But, you know, you don't need to pick through the garbage to take it out. You just take it out. You just let this thing flow out. She says, so how do you release the deepest samskaras? Love it. Welcome it. Worship it. That is a powerful word. Did any of you stop when he said worship it? I went, It's a little extreme. What does he mean? And this is what he says. He says, it is what stands between you and God, and so it is very holy. And this is the truth. For those of you that have done private yoga therapy sessions with me, you know the truth of this. When you let one of these samskaras, one of these deep-rooted things leave, it has a momentum that pulls you. Like I just did a private session over the weekend with a woman who has a ton of stuff going on in her body. She can't even sit up straight for years. And so I said, what's living there? Let's figure out emotionally what's blocked in there, because these things physically manifest. If it oscillates in your system long enough, it will lodge in a part of your body. And while we're doing the work and things are releasing, she was out. I'm talking to her and there's no response, but I can see on her face and I can feel in her body so deeply relaxed. And I know, because I know this work, that things were releasing. And when those things release, there's so much pent up energy. That's your life force prana. It pulls you into a meditative state, into like the most blissful, peaceful place. That's exactly where she went. And that's exactly where this work takes you. And that's exactly why he called this holy. He says, worship the samskara. When that shame comes up, move into it with reverence, because that's the thing that's taking you from who you are not and bringing you to who you truly are. That's what we're talking about. That's what it does. He says, don't push it back down, welcome it. If you push it back down, it's just going to stay there and keep causing problems in your system. Okay? What did Lou say? Lou says, crazy, this past issue does leave a marker in your dried blood mapping, even from years ago, that emotional deposit. Yeah, I've never done blood mapping to see it, but I know that it's rooted in your physical body. It makes sense that it's in your blood, but I see it in the physical body, in the work I do. But he says, don't be afraid of it. You will never let it go. You will just keep protecting yourself from it. Understand that it is just suppressed negative energy from your past trying to finally get out. You don't want it down there, so help it release, right? Stop pushing it back down. Let it go. If there is pain, relax through the pain and give it room as it passes through. It might be uncomfortable as it moves, but it's kind of like when you go to cry. It's uncomfortable, you cry, and then you feel better. If you suppress the crying, you don't feel so good. It feels stuck in your throat. He says, don't try to raise yourself by pushing your disturbed self away. Don't try to be better than it, to talk yourself out of it, to say you don't need to feel this way, to rationalize it. No, it's there. It just needs to be felt. It just needs to be acknowledged. That's all it needs, and it will move through. He says, raise yourself by raising the shame up. Literally offer it to God, to the universe. Literally, he says you can even hold your hands up and offer it up. Don't be ashamed that you feel shame. Rejoice that it's surfacing. Give it whatever it needs and let it go with compassion. If you're willing to do this, you'll open yourself up to the clearing process. To the cleansing process. This is how you get all of this pent up energy and all of these blocks out of your system, is by relaxing with them and allowing them to move through. It's the only way to do it. What you resist persists. If you keep resisting it, it's going to keep causing problems in your system. Literally, the anger is going to be there, the sadness, the rage, the injustice, whatever the emotion is, the shame. It's going to keep causing this physical discomfort in your body until you breathe with it, not to get rid of it, but to go, okay, you can be here. And then all it wanted to do was leave. It's the crazy part of what our mind does. Our mind is so ridiculous that it doesn't realize, the issues it's causing. Any questions with this? It's a deep concept. But this is exactly in the private work that I do. Hey, John. This is exactly what I help people do, because sometimes you need like a facilitator. You need somebody there to help you through this, or you get stuck because your mind jumps in. You don't like discomfort. We have all these stories about how pain is a bad thing, and it's really not. It's really not. It's just part of the process, right? We need both. We need hate to understand love. We need control to understand freedom. Like, we need both. There's a place for both. All right, so the next question he brings up is, how can I handle overwhelming emotions and thoughts when they feel too strong to manage? And this is super relatable. I was waiting for this question. I think this question maybe should have been further up, because this is the epitome of it all. You're like, well, okay, this is all fine and good. Maybe conceptually I can understand it. But in the moment, I'm full of rage. In the moment, I want to punch something. In the moment, I'm so stressed out, I could pull my hair out. In the moment, whatever emotion you're having feels too overwhelming to step back, to create space, to whatever. So how do you actually deal with it? So what does Mickey say? He says, when emotions and thoughts become overwhelming, you have to understand the time to deal with them isn't when they hit you full force. It's every single day leading up to that moment. So today is your day one. Today is day one. Listen to what he's saying and start doing this day one. Don't go after, you're not going to go into the gym and go try to lift 200 pounds or bench press 200 pounds. Like, no, you're going to grab maybe the bar, bench press that before you put weights on. You got to build yourself up. Okay, so do not try to take it out the biggest thing first. He says, you don't wait until a powerful wave crashes over you to learn how to swim. It'd be ridiculous. You'd probably drown. He says, you prepare in calmer waters, little by little, so that when the wave does come, you know how to stay afloat. So every moment of your life, this is your direction. Today is day one. Every moment of your life presents you with the opportunity to let go. Small annoyances. Someone didn't do the dishes. There's a little bit of dirt that your dog tracked in. Someone doesn't reply to your email. Your boss cancels a meeting. This very important client comes up with some reason to not work with you, right? Little annoyances. Frustrations. Your kids did something or said something. Your finances aren't working out the way you want. The grocery store doesn't have the item you need for your recipe. Small frustrations. Irritations. The way somebody looked at you, the way somebody said something. The weather's not cooperating when you wanted to go do something. These are the day-to-day things that he says, if you practice releasing these little things, then when something big comes along, you'll already know what to do. It's the same thing why I teach my yoga therapy clients. It's like, I'm teaching you how to have the capacity to not get overwhelmed by intense feelings and to learn how to watch them and let them actually go. Not push them back in and push forward, but to actually release. Very different. And if you practice with the small stuff, it's like building a muscle at the gym. 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds. You're going to get up there. Okay? He says, when you feel strong emotions rising up, he says, don't immediately get involved with them. Just notice them. Watch them come. Oh, look. Being pissed off is moving into my awareness now. Oh, look. Feeling very sad. Oh, look. Feeling vulnerable. Oh, look. Feeling confident. Oh, look. Feeling whatever. Insert whatever feeling. Right? Just watch it come. Like with childlike curiosity. Like, oh, here this flows in. Watch how your mind starts talking. Your mind's going to make a story around it. It's going to make a story about how this is good or bad or how we want this or don't want this, or it'll just move right into victimhood and think about all the reasons that, yes, life is unfair and shouldn't be this way and how much better you are. And blah, 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 blah. Life is going to do that. Your mind is going to do that. All right? It wants to grab onto the emotions and spin stories about them. Stay centered for as long as you can. Breathe, relax. If you get pulled down into it, fine. Don't judge yourself. Just come back as soon as you notice that you fell down. That's the key. No judgment. I always tell my students, it's about self-discovery, not self-judgment. Self-discovery. Discover that you've been pulled down. Don't fight with yourself. It's ridiculous to fight inside of here. It's just going to cause stress in your body. He says the mind will try to convince you that you must do something about these emotions, that you have to control them, but you don't. You just have to be able to let them pass through. It's okay to feel stressed out. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel jealousy. Like, this is the range of the human emotions that our heart is capable of feeling. It's not wrong that the feelings are there. It's okay to feel grief. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be any of these things. Right? The problem is when you get tied to it and create an identity from it, like that's when you're just like totally on the wrong path. But you have to use these, right? He's saying day by day, you use these little irritations, these little frustrations, you use them to help you go, oh, that's not me. That's just an emotion moving through. I should probably let that one move through. I should let it go. All right. He says the key is don't identify with it. The moment you identify with it, you become it. And your ego loves that because then it gets bigger and bolder. All right. He says emotions are not you. Thoughts are not you. Emotions are not you. Thoughts are not you. Realize this and you will liberate yourself from all the problems of the world because you realize it's all an illusion. You're not these things. They're passing. He says they're just passing energies. The only reason they seem overwhelming is because you have made them personal. You do this like crazy magic trick where you make everything personal to you. Oh, that person looked at me this way and they meant this by it. They took this photo and they were trying to subliminally tell me this. Like, stop. Just shh. Witness. Notice that you're triggered by something out there that actually has nothing to do with anything and let it flow through. He says they come and they go. Okay? What will happen when you stop engaging with the thoughts and you engage with the emotion? When you stop doing that, you don't cease to exist. Just all of the intense emotions and mind chatter stops. And it's very calm and peaceful. Okay? Just like everything else in life, it'll come and it'll go. Instead of getting lost in them, you stay behind them. You remain seated in your true self and you're simply observing. You become the tube, the awareness of whatever's moving through, right? It's a process, okay? It takes time. He says, but if you commit to doing this work on the smaller things every day of life, right? Go to the gym, pick up 10 pounds, okay? You will find that even your strongest emotions, when they come, are not going to take you down. They're not going to pull you. They're not going to have the charge over you and the control over you like they used to. One day, you'll notice that there's no longer a gap even between noticing the tendency, right, to fall down and coming back. You're just going to remain seated in awareness. You're going to go, oh, here it is. Okay, I'm still fine. And it's going to move. All right? You become established in the seat of yourself. And that's liberation. That's complete freedom. That's when you realize I'm more than the mind, and you can live from that place of knowing that I'm more than this thing. All right? I hope this is resonating, guys. Let's try to finish out the chapter. He had 2 questions left. He says, I've been going through a lot of pain since my divorce. Should I continue allowing myself to feel this grief, or am I keeping myself stuck in suffering? This is like a common question where it's like, okay, when is feeling enough? When have I had enough feeling, right? Some people just drown and they wallow in all of their emotions and they talk about it forever. And you're like, time to move on, right? There's a time to feel it and a time to let go. But here's what's interesting. Let's see what he says. He says, the feeling of loss after divorce is difficult for anybody, and it takes time to heal. And then he talks about how a spiritual person, so someone that is able to find this seat of awareness behind emotions, behind their thoughts, they still have emotions. They still have triggering thoughts. Those never go away. It's how you learn to deal with them. So this is how he's talking about it. He says, as a spiritual person, this is someone that has that access open to that witness consciousness. This is how they navigate it. They go through the human pain, just like any other person, except they do not resist the experience. They don't say, I shouldn't be grieving, I should stop grieving. They just let the grief be there. They constantly ask themselves, who notices the pain? Who is noticing that I'm grieving? Who is watching the grieving process? That's your true self. He says they're aware of the pain, but they're much more interested in the awareness of the fact that it's coming and where it's coming from. If the heart hurts, they honor the heart's right to feel these feelings. And they just deeply relax and breathe through the heart. Just as if the heart had nostrils, he says. You can breathe in the pain upward toward the point between your eyebrows, your spiritual eye. And this creates a sense of openness and acceptance. It will help it to move through. He says ultimately a spiritual person honors that their human aspect is going through, and at the same time uses the experience to explore witness consciousness. All right, so it's like it becomes the portal. It's like that is exactly what opens you to having a deeper spiritual connection. Right? That's what it's all about. John says, preach. This is what it's all about. All right. So ultimately, a spiritual person honors their human aspect. It's not that you don't go through these emotions or have them. It's at the same time, you're using that to help you more deeply experience not getting pulled into it and what it means to observe it. You're not suppressing it or pushing it down. You're literally letting it flow through. Constantly being aware that you're not the pain. It's not you. Stop identifying with it. You are the one that's experiencing the pain. If it helps from a centered position, he says you can even reach down to get a big handful of the pain and offer it up to God. Literally stretch your inner hands up away from your head and let the pain go to the universe. Behind it all is a peace of knowing that all things pass in time, if you let them, right? What you resist persists. If you don't let them pass through, they're going to be there forever, okay, until you do. He says, and because you went through them consciously, you become a greater being. If you go through them consciously, it will build you up spiritually. It builds up your capacity to then handle the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, to continue to clear all these layers. In yoga, they call it karma, all these things inside of you that are needing to clear. This is how you evolve. This is how an evolved spiritual person will go through difficulty, and it's how you can evolve spiritually. This is the path. The path is not for the faint of heart, all right? The path is maybe not easy to walk, but it is powerful, right? And I think all of you, if you stop and you look back at your life, the most challenging things have been the most liberating. True or not true? All right. The most difficult things are the things that broke you open. Right? Rumi says the wound is where the light gets in. Right? It is. You need to be broken open to allow more to unfold. It's just part of it. All right. The chicken's got to crack the egg to expand out of it. It's process. All right. The last bit of this. We've got 5 more minutes to get into the end of this chapter. He says, the question is, when heavy emotional pain arises, how can I increase my capacity to relax and release it? So this is a very practical question. So all this sounds well and good. Okay, I want to get to that witness space. How do I practically get there, right? Because it is so overwhelming. The stress is so real. What's happening in this life feels like it's going to crush me. It's going to change my family. It's going to change everything I know in my life. I should be stressed out. Society tells me I'm justified in being stressed out. He says, when you experience heavy emotional pain, it's important to understand what is actually happening inside of you. I love this analogy. He says, just like your body has an immune system that works to expel impurities. So your immune system gets impurities out of your system. It gets viruses, it gets anything that's going to cause harm to your system out. It wants to expel it. He says, your psyche has an innate intelligence that is also trying to free itself from what has been suppressed. Your psyche is trying to cleanse itself. It's trying to get these samskaras, these past trapped energies, out. That's what it's doing. Just like your immune system is expelling viruses, your psyche is trying to expel these things. The pain you're feeling is not a sign that anything is going wrong. It's a sign that something's trying to release. The discomfort is the beauty. It's like the immune system working. It's like, oh, this thing is coming up. I'm feeling pain in my heart. Don't push it back down. That's like keeping the virus in your system. You want to allow it to release. It's coming to go. Let it go. He says, his deep-seated impressions stored from past experiences do not want to stay buried inside of you. They're rising to the surface so that they can leave. So instead of resisting them, you need to learn how to let go of them. If you resist, it will persist. Your job isn't to fight with what comes up or to try to even figure it out. This is the wild part. The mind wants to figure it out. Where's it coming from? Why am I feeling this way? All that heady stuff. Understanding that at the level of the mind does not do the trick. Mental health therapy attempts that route. It can be helpful somewhat, but stuff still lingers. So how do you get the lingering stuff? He says you don't have to analyze it, label it, or even understand it. Your job is simply to relax and allow the process to unfold. It's like giving birth. Yes, it can be painful, but that pain is part of something beautiful. Just because it's painful does not mean it's bad. Every time you feel resistance to what's coming up, that's your moment to relax, to lean away from the disturbance and to allow it to pass through. The more you practice this with the little things, the more you're prepared with the bigger ones, like we talked about. I love how I use the analogy of birth. Like, it's painful, but it's beautiful. It's like you have to go through that to allow the beauty to come. You have to go through the discomfort to allow a deeper connection to that inner sense of calm. You got to get rid of the stuff that's not calm. Okay? You got to get rid of the disturbance and the chaos in your inner energy field in order to access that deeper thing. The highest approach is to actually welcome what comes up, no matter how difficult. You don't have to enjoy it or feel comfortable with it. You can just appreciate that it's leaving. It's just a deep gratitude that is going now. That's out of me now. Do you really want to hold on to the things inside of you that disturb you the most? Put a 1 in the chat if you do. None of you do. None of us want to, right? He says, do you want to keep them buried, where at any time they can unexpectedly take over your inner state? You can just get rage out of nowhere. No, you don't want that. Nobody wants that. He said, wouldn't you rather let go of them forever? Yes, this is the path. Like, right this way, right? This is what Mickey is teaching us in this book. The moment something painful arises, you can shift your perspective. Instead of recoiling from it, you can say, thank you. It's time for this to leave. You don't have to force yourself to handle it perfectly. Even a small shift towards openness is going to help. It's a process, guys. It is a process. All right, the very last thing as we wrap up. If you can truly commit to this process, you will eventually experience something profound. As you continue to relax through the energy of old pain, you'll reach a point where it begins to break free. What once felt like overwhelming suffering will transmute itself into something entirely different. Pure, uplifting energy. Like I described to you in my session over the weekend, that thing that was so uncomfortable, so much anger and rage and pain and resentment, all the stuff that was living in this person. once we looked at it, witnessed it, allowed it to be there, it transmuted and took her to a very meditative, peaceful place. All right. People have described moments where they stayed open through deep pain, and suddenly that energy shot upward and became bliss. Yeah. I can share with you, it's true, because I've lived it myself. This is the natural flow of energy when it's no longer blocked by resistance. This is the journey of true inner freedom. Welcoming what arises, relaxing through it, and allowing it to pass. Every moment of discomfort is an opportunity to become free. When you feel anxiety, it's an opportunity to become more and more free. All right, it's what it's all about. And just this week, watch yourself. You don't need to go after the big things, some big health issue or some big issue at work, just the little thing, just like the little things. Start there, start opening your heart, start letting it move through, and it'll change your life. All right. And of course, reach out if you want to do private work with me, with yoga therapy. It's just profound. It's so beautiful. I witnessed it just yesterday, this practice, it's humbling and it's incredible to watch. And, it's a secret that I feel like everyone needs to know. It's the secret to life. So, I am very grateful for this wisdom from Mickey. I'm grateful to you all for spending your Monday with me here. We'll be back next week, and it looks like there's a new section, or chapter, ego and self-concept. That's where we're going to start next week. So that is chapter 3, and I'll see you then. Lots of love. Bye, guys.